Prior to making our final mixdown, one thing that's very useful is just tidying up the tracks before we actually start mixing them. I'll show you what I mean by these tidying up things. Down here, this backing vocal track, for example, I'll make that a little bit larger so we can see it. Now you can see in the gaps here, there's little peaks in the waveform, alright? If I solo that up and just play between that part, okay, you get background noise, okay.
Is it true that...
So that background noise we can very easily erase just by selecting where it is. You can be in slip mode or grid mode for this, by the way, but not in shuffle mode. I'll show you why. We're currently in grid mode, so I'll select that bit now, and all I do is hit backspace on the keyboard, and it's gone. Now, I'll just quickly undo that, okay? And this time I'll do it in slip mode, and it'll look exactly the same. So change to slip mode, hit backspace, and again it goes. So again, undo that very quickly. But watch what happens in shuffle mode. So in shuffle mode, basically you're not allowed to have any gaps here. So this gap here is going to get filled up. So if I now backspace it, you see what we've got. Bit of a problem now if we play it back.
Could it be there is another wind I need? There is a better...
Oh dear. Okay, so we need to watch that we make sure we're not in shuffle mode when we're doing that. Okay, so back to grid mode, and you can take your time just to go through all your tracks, and just where the instruments aren't playing, just get rid of all that kind of nonsense or spoo as it's sometimes known. Okay, it means everything breaks up a little bit, but it does get rid of all the rubbish. Now, I say the rubbish as well. Listen especially to the song at the very beginning. So even before the hi-hat counting comes in, there's a wee tweak on the guitar, and there's some hiss from the background noise of the guitar. So what I'm just going to do is I'll just use the Alt-click drag to change the track height to medium. And we can also use the zoom tool just to increase the size of the waveform. And you can see these little glitches. There's that little twank on the guitar there. Yeah, you see it? So all we have to do is just delete these first bits before the drums start. As soon as the drums start without counting, they'll kind of be masked. So here's a quick way of doing it. We can click to find the empty bit on one track, and then holding down shift, click all of the adjacent tracks to get rid of exactly the same portion of the signal from that part there. All the way down, click, click, scroll, scroll, and then making sure we're not in shuffle mode, just hit backspace. And instantly we're better. So listen to it now. No hiss, no crackles, no little guitar hiccups. But the other thing here is, look at this lead vocal part as well. That, what you're seeing there is the sound of the backing track feeding through the headphones. So we just get rid of that as well. Same with the backing vocals down here. There's no need to have these. Again, use the shift click function to get rid of these things. Okay. Other little things that happen as well. You'll notice here, this backing vocal here, if we solo that backing vocal up, we've got a little clearing of the throat there. And again, that's something that we can very quickly just edit out. So I'm just zooming in very slightly. And then all we're going to do is select that little chunk there and press backspace. And now the cough is gone. Perfect. So it's tidying everything up before we do an edit, before we do our final mixdown. Now you could do all this with mute functions, but it's going to take you hours to do. Whereas you could probably just do all of this in about maybe 10 minutes of work prior to making a recording. If you get a little bit like that, you'll notice I selected that there and it was going into the next waveform. That's because I'm in grid mode. And if that's happening, just pop it into slip mode like this, and then you'll be able to select absolutely any portion of the waveform you want to. Press backspace and away you go. So that's just tidying up all those audio files prior to you doing the mixdown, getting rid of all those little squeaks and pops and noises and clicks and notes that you don't want. Okay, so take the time to do that, and it just makes your mixdown an awful lot cleaner.